Hi everyone, Germany 1, Netherlands 0. A disappointing performance in the Nations League. I'm here, Mike's here, and so is Abdul. We've got YouTube comments on right now, so let us know live what your thoughts were on the game. Really frustrating. What would you put that down to? Is it a mixture of things? Let us know. And if you're not watching live, leave us a comment on the YouTube comments as to what you thought of the game. So where do you want to start? How do we dig into this one? Only 1-0, but, really disappointing.
Yeah, a second bad performance in a row. We saw that with Hungary, and we saw that tonight. The team was completely clueless. The first half, I don't know how it ended 0-0. Germany should have ended the match from the first half, actually winning 3-0 at least, with all the chances they missed. The midfield was completely clumsy and helpless. The front line was isolated, and I would not blame Broby at all tonight because he was completely isolated. He barely got the ball actually. Van de Ven's place wasn't good as a central defender. He made many mistakes tonight. What I really have against Kuman is waiting, to make changes in the second half. While in the first half, you should have seen what was wrong with the team. This was probably the worst first half I've ever seen for Oranje since the days of Danny Blind, maybe, and the second era of Guus Hiddink. It was a very bad game. Okay, we did improve a little. Maybe the only bright side this match was Hatu and Weaver. Weaver was, in my opinion, he played a good match. We played relatively better in the second half, but that wasn't enough. Kuman insisting on putting Savvy as a winger is not really helping at all. When he put him in the depth in the midfield, the team kind of performed better. So why waiting for this? Why do you just give away the first half the same way we did against Hungary? Football is 90 minutes, not only 45 minutes where you try to fix the mistakes that you made in the first half. I'm very disappointed, very upset, to be honest. Luckily, in this new Nations League system, second team qualifies only. But that really makes me also concerned that we might not be able to beat Hungary if we continue playing like this.
Yeah, I think the most disappointing thing for me was that you had a Germany side that had a lot of. Well, we don't watch the Bundesliga that much, but they had a lot of what I would call unknown players in the side. It wasn't a Germany that we've known for years that's full of world-class players. This is one that's new, fresh. Nagelsmann's got some new names in there. And these players have been eager to impress. And I would have said the same about Netherlands. They have some players in there that aren't always going to be the first names on the team sheet, and they should be players that are looking to impress. So Van de Ven, Hato, Gravenberg, Timber, they're not first choice. So these are the games that they had to come in and do something. In both games, I don't think any of them have done anything. They've done absolutely nothing. And when you see how Gravenberg's been portrayed as one of the best midfielders in the world so far this season when he plays for Liverpool, and tonight he was like Bambi on ice. He couldn't stay on his feet. He lost the ball constantly. Couldn't dribble. Couldn't pass. Same with Timber. Couldn't pass. Couldn't win the ball. Midfield was totally bypassed at points in the first half. I thought the only tactic was De Vrij got the ball and booted it as far as he could, and then he was hoping that Gakpo or Robbie could get onto it. Gakpo probably had his worst game for the Netherlands, I thought. Deliveries were terrible. Every single time he got the ball on the left wing, he either lost it, or he cut inside and gave the ball away with a terrible pass. I think the only bright spot of the first half was that we had a 4-on-3 at one point. There was a really easy pass on, but Gakpo just decided to play it behind, and it went nowhere. I think attack-wise, we've been the worst I've seen in Netherlands in these two games. Like Hungary was a lot of possession, a lot of chances of outscoring. Tonight was unable to create anything until the last minute of the game, where Malin finally got a shot on target. I think it's just depressing. When you see a Germany side that's there for the taking, and then you play that badly, something's got to give. And sadly for me, I think Kuman's got a lot of excuses, and that we'll see him through to the next international period, because he can turn around and say, what do you expect? We didn't have Van Dijk, we didn't have De Jong, we didn't have Koopmeiners, we didn't have Julian Timber, and that'll get him through, because the KMVB ain't going to sack him after this performance because he'll just use these excuses.
Yeah, I don't expect Kuman to be sacked anytime soon, unfortunately, and that's not like I'm fully in the out camp. I was frustrated by the lack of opportunities created with attacking players we have. They are very good players, and in the home match, we caused Germany problems with the likes of Robbie Strength, and we saw in flashes this evening the quality that Marlon and Simmons can bring. Frimpong's pace down the right, but it was far too few moments. Like Simmons was barely in the game at all, yet still created our best opportunity hitting the crossbar. Was it the crossbar? I mean, whatever. The goalkeeper had a tiny touch onto it. It should have been a corner. I just don't know what the plan was to attack this evening. Germany were hardly going to be like a low block like Hungary were. Different game. I don't know. There's just a lack of ideas. Do we need to try something totally different? I don't want to blame it on player selection. I don't want to blame it on a centre back being missing. I don't want to blame it on Frankie de Jong being missing because we've not had him for so long. I don't want to also blame it on having Memphis. Why can't we have created more with the players we had? I was just in the first half. It was concerning and quite boring. In a game like this, you can put it down to things like there are too many games right now. The players want to play in games like this. In a high stakes game against Germany, normally there's something weighing on it, whereas it's just a Nations League game. I don't know. Too many excuses, right? Because that's what Kuman's going to do. I don't want to do his job for him. I want to know what they tactically could have done better.
You cannot do the same thing and expect different results. We played pretty much the same system, the same players, except for Van Dijk for being sent off. We played like that, and it was very bad against Hungary. So what's the point of playing with the same lineup again against Germany? You could always lose to Germany. It's a big football nation, but not with
this. I agree. Yeah. 1-0 defeat is not exactly a disgrace, but it was the way that they played.
Exactly.
They played well. They would have actually won this game, really.
Yeah, even with the best squad we have, they could have also defeated us. But we're talking about the performance. When the first half you have 0 shots on target, you have 0 attempts, and this is terrible. Seriously. To be honest, I think all fans are bored of starting wrong and then trying to make some changes in the second half to fix the mistakes, because Kuman is not really making the substitutions to attack or to defend. No, he's trying to fix his mistakes in the second half. I don't know where this is going, really. I can read some fans are hoping to lose against Hungary and Bosnia, so maybe he will be sacked, because I agree with you. I don't think he will be sacked after this match. Yeah, very unlikely.
Yeah, I think that tactically he just got it. As Abdul said, he went with the same sort of the lineup. The same left back stays back. Dumfries is meant to push on. Xavi Simons is meant to come to the middle to free up space for Dumfries. It just didn't work. There was no holding up the ball. They couldn't keep the ball. They couldn't bring Dumfries into the game at all. They couldn't bring Simmons into the game at all. Blasting it forward, hoping that Robbie can get in behind is not a tactic. It's desperation, and that's what the first half was. It's total desperation, because Germany got at them from the first moment, and they just couldn't keep hold of the ball. The midfield, the midfield for me is a big reason why it was so bad tonight, because they could not get a hold of the ball. They could not bypass a man. Every single time that Timber got it, he was getting shut down. He was losing it. He was turning back, save passes, and then De Vrij was just booting it forward. I think tonight we saw that Van Dijk is key. In the past couple of previews, I've said, it'll be interesting to see what it'll be like without him, because he is at fault for sometimes when Netherlands lose. But if you see how the Netherlands defence couldn't keep the ball without him there, in possession, Van Dijk is still key, and I will admit that. He is a big reason why tonight probably went the way it did, because he wasn't there. I think in the midfield, you've got to say that you need Koopmeiners, you need Frankie de Jong in there going forward, and there needs to be a solution to this attack, because he cannot keep playing Xavi Simons wide right. And even in the second half, it improved because he moved to the middle. You've got to play a right winger out there. You cannot keep playing this same tactic over and over again and hope that something's going to happen, because it's just not working. He's shoehorning Xavi Simons in there instead of making a big decision to drop him or drop Reinders, who I thought had an absolute shocker tonight as well. And he had the same against Hungary, really poor. So yeah, as Abdul said, you can't keep making mistakes with your starting lineup and then going to fix it in the second half, because it's not always going to save you. And in these 2 games, it hasn't saved them.
Yeah, I just want to come in on the point of wanting to lose against another team to see Kuman sacked. I can never agree with that personally, just myself. I think you could. Yeah. Why would you ever want to go against your own team for that reason? I think at the end of the day, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, isn't it? And it's not as if, wanting your own team to lose when you sit down to watch something you should enjoy. I can't get on board with that, but I can get on board with Kuman needing to go at this point. I think there was a time of positivity we had where we thought, maybe he's learning from his mistakes, maybe he's correcting it. And now we're back to these Nations League games where either the players aren't motivated or they aren't tactically set up well enough to proactively to do well in games. It is always, like, as I said, a bit reactive and a bit odd as well. I know in live comments, lots of things been put there. We have time to go through every single one of these live comments, but we'll bring up some in a minute. One was mentioning bring on Hirtrauda like late in the game. Just why? When they're trying to get the game back and actually either keep the player on that was there or throw the kitchen sink and play an extra striker or something. Or just something like that. I don't know why Hirtrauda's coming on at that point without even changing the formation.
It did not make sense at all. Yeah, you need to score a goal and you replace a midfielder. I mean, what's the point of this really? I feel bad because people are hoping for Oranje to lose. Oranje fans are hoping for the team to lose. I disagree with that, of course, just for Kuman to leave. I don't know how he's going to play next month against Hungary. It's going to be a crucial match. Luckily, first and second qualified, and if we win or tie, we are pretty much through. But still, this has to be fixed. We cannot just make excuses for the injuries we have. Germany had a new team tonight. Many players were missing, but they played like their first team. They were amazing, really. So we cannot make excuses for missing some key players. We still have a good squad that could have scored or even played better, but nothing of that was shown tonight, actually.
I just think on a qualification point of view, isn't it that we need 4 points? If we can draw or beat Hungary, then beating Bosnia will be enough, or a draw against Bosnia will be enough to beat Hungary. Something like that. I'm getting too much into technicalities of it. But that's achievable for Kuman, you'd think?
Beating Hungary is, of course, going to finish the group. We will be second, definitely. Drawing with Hungary and beating Bosnia also will finish the group because of the goal difference. And, of course, I doubt Hungary is going to beat Germany. But even if they do, the goal difference is in favor of Oranje. So, yeah, our fate is still in our hands, We're talking about the performance, because even if we defeated Hungary a few days ago with this performance, I don't think we would have been happy, So the performance is the problem. Kuman needs just to fix the system. Some players just don't belong to the place where they are. I'm talking specifically here about Simons, His side was dead all the match until he became the midfield. He brought some maybe power to his position. So I don't know why he's this stubborn. I really hope he changes that for next month and next 2 matches.
Yeah, I agree. You harper back to the Euros where Kuman even said he's found Xavi Simons' best position is through the middle, and then he's just shoved him on the right. It makes zero sense. It makes absolutely no sense that he's come out and said, "Oh, I found his best position. Oh, he's playing well centrally. Actually, I'll just stop back outright, but he's not been playing well." Oh well, I've lost and drawn these 2 games, or maybe that was a mistake. He's not even admitting his mistakes. I think he's basically blaming the players in his post-game press conference, and then said it's not Van Dijk's fault. So, yeah, I doubt you're going to see Ronald come in and come out and say, "I got this tactically wrong," because he's just not that type of guy. He's going to blame everything but that. You blame the injuries, you blame the players were sitting deep when it's his tactics. Yeah, he'll blame everyone else but himself.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's bring in some live comments. So lots of talking points within these. What I might do is flash them on screen whilst we're talking. Let's begin then with some of the most recent ones. Kuman's already come out and said an explanation for the first half, that dreadful first half. We had like no attempts. Well, if you drop back this deep, you ask for it. Well, who set the team up? Who can impact the players the most when they're on the pitch? The manager. Yeah. This is a comment back to what we were saying as well. Guys, I'd rather lose now. So wanting Netherlands to lose, so to speak. Get rid of him now, whilst it doesn't matter quite so much. Alex doesn't have much to add. Pretty poor performance all round. Kuman's tactics, square pegs in round holes. Sad bit. He keeps doing it match after match. Let's have a look. Some other comments. So many players are off form with their club, says Chris. So maybe it's a club thing and it's a player form issue. What about this? About Brobbey must have thought he was at Ajax with typical lack of service, no tempo, combination playing or practice football. Coat Myers might make a difference in midfield. John's opinion there. Yeah. Okay. You haven't seen much from the Netherlands shirt, to be honest, ever, really, have we? He's not really ever had that run of games, from what I remember. How about this then? Let's bring us some comments about Kuman. He has to be sacked. I need to work hard to play faster. Certain guys are pretty suspect on the ball. Plenty of things came in about Kuman. I'll try and find some. Yeah, Chris says, weirdest moment was in Kuman just throwing a clear chowder. Someone want to just fill for a minute whilst I bring in some more comments about Kuman? See if I can find some more of these.
Yeah, with the Chowder one, it made zero sense because you had, I understand you didn't have a striker on the bench, but you did have, Kluivert. You could have brought on Kluivert. You could have brought on, I'm trying to think who else was on the bench. You could still, for a bit of height, and could have went route one at least. And
yeah, why not?
Taller man.
Yeah.
And but bringing on your Chowder and going even more defensive just didn't make any sense at that point. And actually, for the last 5-10 minutes, it looked like Germany were the more likely one to, well, actually the last couple of minutes of stoppage time, it looked like Germany were the most likely to score on the counter. So, yeah, it was a very strange substitution. But I thought that even bringing on Xerxes, when the problem wasn't that Brobbey was playing bad, it's just that he's getting no service. If you brought in somebody to help him get service, maybe even bring on Xerxes and play him with Brobbey, the two of them could have linked up. It just, uninspired, sort of predictable substitutions from Kuman that didn't work. The only one I think that worked was Mats Wiefer bringing on. I thought he came on and actually kept the ball and got it playing forward. And him, Verbruggen and Hato are the only ones that come out of this with any sort of credit for me. The rest of the team were, I'd say, below 5 out of 10. So yeah, I think for me, Kuman needs to take this on the chin, needs to get a bit hope for next November that the best players are back fit. So you've got Koopmeiners, you've got Frankie de Jong, you've got Jurien Timber. I think Jurien Timber could have made a big difference tonight with carrying the ball at defence. I think he would have made a big impact if he was playing. So yeah, we need to get the big names back and then hope that he finds a solution to the attack, because yeah, what we're seeing right now is just not the answer. And when Cody Gakpo has an off day, there's no threat whatsoever.
Yeah, it wasn't only the...
sorry.
It wasn't only that the performance. One of the comments we're talking about was talking about the fighting spirit, and he was right. We did not see a fighting spirit at all in the team tonight, and this is the job of the coach actually, or the captain of the team to give some enthusiasm into the players. But none of that was happening, unfortunately.
John sums it up here. He said, "Wow, comments about Kuman are just brutal. I guess we're really out of patience." Yeah, I mean, if you saw it on the screen now, I was putting all these comments on about Kuman, and all of them quite negative. I'd say there's like, a really good handful there of people that are really dissatisfied with it all. And, no something that far. I think you've got to look at him there, where he set the team up. Why we always talk about players being out of form or not quite right or needing to play in a different position. Why isn't Kuman spotting this and changing this? I don't think you can blame this on player selection. Chris happened to mention about Rifa, I thought was the best there. He did okay.
Yep.
I didn't notice too much myself, to be honest. I wasn't enamored by any of them this evening. Marlon did a little bit when he came on. He did try and make a difference. He was trying to be direct. How about this one, Mike? You can answer this one. What position do Simmons? He cannot pass, cannot dribble, cannot shoot, and has zero physical ability.
I don't agree with that. I think he can pass, he can dribble, and he can shoot. We've seen it. Like when he gets positioned centrally and he can actually take a shot on goal, he does actually have a good shot. Like tonight, the closest he came to scoring was because Simmons smashed the bar with a fierce shot. So to say that he can't shoot, when we've seen him score that goal against England that he scored and one tonight from central positions, proves that he can do it. He's just being played in a position where he's not getting enough of the ball centrally to do that. I think if you can get him round the box in a shooting position, he is actually good at it. We just don't see it enough.
Yeah, and I think from set piece as well, he's not the best option to have from them. But he would be for me, looking at it now, hindsight, would he be the ideal player to bring on with half an hour left, tiring opposition? He plays in the 10, and he's the one that's, finding those little spaces. Whereas playing game in, game out of the minute, he's having very little impact and shows it in little flashes. But it's like he's got no one to play with as well. That and part of it is that position. He's better in the middle. We could see it when he was playing there this evening. I mean, if there was another game tomorrow, who would you play differently? Like, which players would you bring in with a fully strength squad, and what way are you going to play? This is quite a big question, I realise, but
well, Frimpong should be a starter in my opinion. He's a great player, fast. He can cause so much trouble. Simmons definitely should be playing as an attacking midfielder, not as a winger. I think these are the only two changes I would have made, for tonight's match. And if supposedly there is a match tomorrow, and some players are not really mentally sharp to play tonight. I saw them making many mistakes. Gravenberch he's an amazing midfielder with Liverpool. Tonight he was completely invisible. So obviously he wasn't ready to play this match, and I think this is the job, as I said, of the coach or at least the captain of the team. These are the only substitutions I would have made. Maybe Will Weaver proved himself tonight, in my opinion. Maybe he should be a starter if we have a match tomorrow, assuming that Frankie de Jong and Koopmeiners are still injured.
So that was my question. What if they are fit? Who plays then if everybody's available?
Frankie de Jong, Koopmeiners. I think Koopmeiners is a very important player. He's too strong physically. His passes are decisive. He's really good. So Frankie de Jong, Koopmeiners, and depends on who performs better in the league. Either it's Reinders or Quinton Timber or Weaver. One of them, one of the three.
Mm-hmm. I think you could have had totally different everyone's sort of setup. You could have had the goalkeeper still. Verbruggen's still the best goalkeeper, I think, that we've got. I think if you look at defensively, you could have had Dumfries, Timber next to Dumfries, Van Dijk, Hartman, Frankie de Jong, Ravenberg, Koopmeiners. Then you could have had Gakpo up front. It's difficult, but say you had Weghorst there tonight instead, and then had a more direct winger like Frimpong. You're going to create more chances. You're going to have a striker that's actually getting in the box, bustling like Robbie is. You'd hope that you'd get more opportunities to pass the ball and maybe a better set piece with Koopmeiners there. If Koopmeiners is delivering crosses, maybe you'd find somebody like Robbie or Weghorst a bit more. And Timber can carry the ball at defence as well. So I think that these are the sort of things we're missing tonight. Like Van de Ven, you see it at Tottenham where he picks up the ball and just runs with it. We didn't see any of that tonight. You saw him pick up the ball and he's just scared to do anything with it. He wouldn't leave his position. Stefan de Vrij, when he got on the ball, as I said earlier on, he's just booting it forward. It's a frustrating night tonight. I think we've got to look at it. When November comes, we're going to have a stronger team if the players that we're missing come back. But it's worrying that Kuman can't get the best out of these players who should be good enough to go toe-to-toe with the Germany side. They didn't go toe-to-toe with the Germany side. If this match had finished 3 or 4-0, we'd have went, yeah, that's deserved, like on balance of play. And they're lucky tonight that they walked away just a 1-0 defeat, and it makes it look like it wasn't too bad to anyone that didn't actually watch the game.
Yeah. I've got a couple of quotes to put from you here that's been made after the match. Dumfries spoke about it being a process, but come on. we're so far into a team, a squad. Kuman's had a long time with them. I don't buy into that, sorry. And I didn't really like Kuman's remarks about the Hungary games, is now that we're on the same points as Hungary. He says, well, that's going to be a good game now, isn't it? I feel that was a bit tongue-in-cheek. Was that as if to suggest that the game so far there has been nothing to play for and his players haven't been motivated? I don't know. For me, there was an ulterior, like, hidden message within that comment.
Yeah, Kuman's not the best in press conference. He's not the best post-match. He is quite stingy with the media at times as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you can't really decipher exactly what he means by these things, because I think he always is having a wee dig. But yeah, like, one day we'll find out if this all goes pear-shaped. You know, some players will come out and describe what it was really like in the dressing room and really like tactically, because you've got to wonder what the hell's going on in the training pitch when they play like that. Like, what are they saying to Brobbey? What's his game plan? Like, how are we going to get Brobbey the ball? Because on the training pitch, you aren't just giving it to Ryan and lobbing it forward and hoping that he runs onto it. There must be some sort of plan, but just when it comes to the pitch, the orders are clueless.
Let's bring a few more live comments. We've had... Oh, lost it now. Here it is. Yeah. And Melissa thinks today came down to tactics and the ability to motivate players. Germany's now have a better squad, but the way they played showed a true difference, and Nagelsmann's better. I had a comment saying about how he's like a cheerleader. Look at his energy levels and his team matches it. Did South the Netherlands. Couple replied back to what you guys were saying as well. So another one here, what Mike's describing with wingers crossing to a target man. We haven't had that. Kuman's used to depending on Luke de Jong for his tall target. Now he's using Wout Weghorst for the same reason. Yeah. There's one back to Abdul as well. I think they're saying something like, with your midfield, Abdul, yeah, who's going to be defending me?
Well, actually, I think Wever can be the third midfielder.
Yeah, he's a defensive man, isn't he?
Yeah, what he did tonight was good. I think he was one of the best players in the match. His numbers were also good for the tackles and the passes and all that. So I would say Frankie, Koopmeiners, and Wever maybe, unless, of course, Reinders and Gravenberg play better the next matches, then that will put Kuman under a big pressure. It will give him the luxury of selection. I don't know who he's going to choose by then. One of the comments was talking about Frankie de Jong. Is he going to be as good as before? You know, since he hasn't been playing for a while now. That's a good question. I don't know. But we're just assuming he will be back the same Frankie de Jong that we've always known. I guess time will tell. You know, we have a month to see since he's ready to play now. We will see him in a few matches with Barcelona, and then I guess we will know. Yeah.
I would have thought it would be too soon for him to come back with needing match fitness and everything like that. So I don't think he'd be coming into the next squad. But Statham will be back by then, and we've seen him do well, and I wouldn't be against that at all now. Why not a midfield of Statham, Koopmeiners, and Reinders? I think if we need a bit more attacking, then swap out Reinders, maybe give Simons a chance at the end of 10. But then, of course, you need to match it out wide, and I think Gakpo and a striker probably going to be about Weghorst now, isn't it? And then someone out wide in the right. I think Frimpong, yes, want him in the team, but I don't know if that's enough attacking impetus if you've got someone like Reinders in the 10 and then Frimpong out wide. Just someone a bit more attacking if you need to beat Hungary. Seems very balanced and reserved to go like that. But that's all for next month's problem, I guess.
Yeah. We need to shake up the offense a little bit. We need to make some changes in the front line. It cannot continue working like that. And I'm sorry to say this, but one of the comments mentioning Schouten is a must. I think he is a must. Yeah. Yes, if he's back, we will definitely need him. He was really we really missed him the previous two matches. I don't know how it's going to work until next month. I really hope it does. I really hope we beat Hungary, and I hope Kuman finds his way. But to be honest, I'm losing faith in him. I was defending him in many occasions, but I am losing faith in him. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, and in terms of shaking up the attack, you kind of look around all the teams that have attackers that they could pick, and you look at PSV, and Noah Lang can't get into the side yet, so he's not going to come into contention until he starts playing. Somerville can't get into the West Ham side, so he's not going to come into it until he starts playing. So if you're Cody Gakpo, you kind of come into these squads knowing that you're going to play because there's not really anyone that's going to take your spot.
Yeah.
So we need that competition, and we need Lang, and we need Somerville to get to their potential so they can then challenge, because I think that those are two players that could breathe some life into the Netherlands attack if they were selected, but just not getting any game time at the moment. I don't really know what's going on with Noah Lang since he's come back this season. He seems to just be a bit lethargic for PSV when he's coming on the pitch. So yeah, there's options coming into it. Like, even if you look at the midfield, I'm really excited about Molambo and what he can bring if he gets game time for Feyenoord. So I'm excited to see what he can do. But yeah, Kuman is a must. Jerry Shoughton coming back would be huge as well, because we've missed his ability on the ball, because that's what we praised him for at the Euros, was he did everything that was easy well. Like, he picked up the ball, made an easy pass, but we didn't see that tonight. He picked up the ball and he lost it. You needed that calm influence in midfield. We didn't have that tonight, and Shoughton brings that. So yeah, he was a big miss tonight.
What worries me is that all the attackers are subs in their teams. Gakpo is a sub, Somerville is a sub, Malin is a sub, even Broby. Okay, Broby plays more, but he's not really performing well with Ajax. We really have a serious problem with this. Somerville is a sub. Almost all our attackers are subs with their clubs. This is the problem also. And that's actually a bigger problem. And I don't know how we can solve this, really.
And for me, that was our biggest problem tonight, cutting edge. And there wasn't enough in that final third. We could have pinched a goal and got 1-1 out of this because of our quality. But yeah, there aren't enough players informing their clubs. But part of it is that, and part of it is, again, I come back to it, Kuman, the way he's set the team up to try and attack. We've had some more comments come in just now. So we might start rounding off. So if you haven't already, could you give our podcast a like, please? Make sure the algorithm loves us very much and more people find us. But before we go, a few more comments and some last thoughts from Mike and Abdul. So this one here, I'm going to retrieve. Can Mike or anyone give us insight into Dutch media for putting pressure on Kuman to go? They can't be less supportive, can they? I've got to say, from the vibes I get, there's a lot about the players, like, don't choose this player again, but not necessarily enough on Kuman. They think he's a weak link or whatever. They'll say it, but it's not loud, like the comments we're having on here, for example. I think that comes out of a couple of things. I think part of it is Dutch people in general, they kind of accept it a little more. They don't have this sort of high expectations, I think, over their nation in terms of footballing ability. Quite modest, I guess, in that. But also, yeah, the media kind of put up a little bit with the status quo, in my view. They've been very critical of there being foreign coaches with Ajax and Feyenoord this season. And I feel like those comments are made there. I mean, they're not hurtful, but they're very stereotypical. I'm making a big generalization here, but that's what I see from the outside.
Well, the Dutch Football Association, they just keep recycling coaches. We talked about that before. Since 1994, I don't recall them bringing new coaches. If you think about it, Dick Advocaat took the job 3 times. Louis van Gaal took the job 3 times. Many other coaches took the job twice. Who's Hiddink, for example, took the job twice. Kuman took the job twice. They just keep recycling coaches. That's the problem. There is no long-term plan, as we see with Germany, for example. I remember the previous coach, Love, I think his name. He stayed for more than a decade, if I'm not mistaken, before they decided to replace him with a new coach. This is the problem with the Dutch Football Association. I disagree with you about Dutch fans. I think they are really crazy about the team. They always expect the team to win something. And we see that in the competitions, how how amazing the atmosphere they make. We saw that also in the previous Euro. So I disagree with this, but I don't know where this is going really. I tweet sometimes. One of the guys said, you mentioned Kuman with your tweets. Hopefully that will change something, but I doubt that will change anything really.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of watching the Dutch media and trying to think of a moment where somebody's actually went at Kuman. And the most recent sort of thing that I can think of is when people used to say to him, "Why are you not selected in Frimpong?" That was it. I remember those comments. There was one press conference where like he had like 2 or 3 journalists ask him, "But why are you not selected in Frimpong?" But tactically, it never really gets questioned. It's never really like, "Oh,
Exactly.
Why did you sell this player? Why is Xavi Simons playing out wide right all the time? He clearly can't play there." Like it seems like the Dutch journalists go, "Oh, what's the tactics like today? Did you think you got it right?" And you'll go, "Well, what do you think?" And like sort of be snipey and like have a go at them sort of thing. And it's never really pointing and being like, "You got that wrong. Like, what are you doing?" Like fans, we always do that. Like we do it at club level, we do it at international level. We always look and say like, "This could have been better, that could have been better." I think journalists are a bit more, I don't know, I think modern day journalists are a bit more, there's a bit more leeway towards coaches. A lot of journalists, I think, are at club level are scared of getting banned by clubs. I don't know what it's like with the KNVB if they ban journalists, if they start like having a go at people. But I do think there's a lot less sort of like pointed accusations from journalists these days. You sometimes get it where like the Telegraph and Kuman have a little interchange, but it's usually like a subtle comment from the Telegraph that gets Kuman's like back up. It's the same with Van Gaal. It'd be a subtle comment, and he would go back and be like, "Oh, the Telegraph, blah 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 blah." But there's not somebody from Football International standing up being like, "Your tactics are terrible. You should go." Like that doesn't happen. But we wish it kind of did because it'd make the press conferences a bit more interesting than what they are. But yeah, I think it's down to the fans to sort of voice opinions because the journalists don't really do it. They sort of just get a balanced quote, and that's enough for them.
It's about time we got back into a press conference again.
If I may add this, not only Kuman said that Simons should be a midfielder, and then he puts him back as a winger. He also said something about the Saudi league. It's not a Mickey Mouse league when he selected Wijnaldum. But then when Bergwijn decided to go to the Saudi league, he heavily criticized him. So you pretty much can see that he doesn't know what he wants really. That's the problem. He changes his opinions very quickly. That really worries me also.
Yeah.
And I think that we did put a poll up tonight. It is basically just trying to gauge opinion. It isn't what we're saying. Like we put a poll up after the game saying, should Kuman be sacked? I think it's something like 72% of people saying yes. And quite a lot of comments are like, "Oh, this is ridiculous. Like it's only this competition doesn't matter. These games don't matter. You're missing players and all that." But I don't think Kuman rides a wave of the Euros were absolutely perfect just because he got to the semi-final. So this is a steady period where I think Kuman's been poor the whole way through, and some performances have got him to where he is now. I don't think that we got to Euro semi-final because Kuman was a great coach. And I think we're seeing now when he plays against big teams, he loses. I don't think this period we've seen Netherlands beat anyone that's like considered a top nation. So I think if you want to progress, if you want to make sure that you're challenging for the World Cup, it needs to be fresher, newer ideas. Because we said it last time, I think he's got a couple of yes men sitting next to him on the bench. I don't think there's anyone in the KMV really challenging. Like, what's Nigel de Jong doing? Like, he got put in that position as above Kuman. What does he think? Like, we don't know. So, yeah, there needs to be some harsh conversations at the KMV if the Netherlands are ever actually going to do something and win the World Cup, because right now they seem to be stagnating towards another sort of knockout round exit and being like, okay, that's fine.
He hasn't defeated any tough team yet, any world-class team yet, It's either a draw or a loss with a terrible performance. So I don't know where this is going really. And yeah, Mike, I was asking the same question actually during the match. What is Nigel de Jong doing? How come he's not even talking to him or discussing with him or challenging him with some questions about his selection? A mystery.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end it. That kind of mystery of what will happen next to Netherlands. Is anyone going to say anything? Is the media going to have a little more questioning thought of him? Don't see it personally myself, but we'll have to see. A good one to finish on. Malumbu's better than Simmons. Do you mean Yusuf Malumbu, who wants to play for West Brom? I think you meant Malambo, but let's finish there. Thanks everyone for your live comments. I see lots of you have been commenting throughout the whole of the show. So yeah, thanks for making it interesting. And anyone else watching live, do leave us a comment down below now. What do you think of the game? We'll be back, of course, in the next international break, but much more between now and then, of course, club football wise. So if that's your bag too, stick around on the Football-Oranje YouTube channel or on the audio only podcasts and see what more's coming there. But if you want some more written Football-Oranje content right now, you want it injected into your veins, go over to the website. I might have his player ratings up very soon. And I'm sure we'll keep posting on Twitter as well as we do. But yeah, that's it from us for now. Do us a like if you haven't already. Comment down below. Subscribe if you are a new Dutch football fan who doesn't know us yet. And we'll see you soon. That's it from us. Bye.